Saleha Huuda moved through the world like someone who believed in momentum. At 21, she was a university student, an athlete, a young woman whose days were filled with motion, practice, study, laughter, the ordinary intensity of becoming. She was not hiding. She was not retreating. She was doing what young people are told to do: show up fully, lean forward, build a life. That forward motion ended on December 30th, 2010. Firefighters were called to a small brush fire outside Gainesville, Florida. It was meant to be routine, a nuisance call, something to extinguish and forget. Instead, they found a body burning in the woods. Not an accident, not a tragedy without hands. A woman set on fire after she was already dead. That woman was Saleha. The fire was not the crime. It was the attempt to erase one. Investigators quickly determined that she had been killed before the flames were lit. The woods were chosen not for beauty, but for distance, for silence, for the hope that time would dissolve what violence had done. It didn't. The investigation turned inward, not outward. This was not random. This was personal. Police focused on Saleha's former boyfriend, Antonio Drayton, a man with a documented history of volatility. Alongside him was Cassandra Kimbrough, his current partner. Together, they were accused not only of murder, but of what followed: moving her body, burning it, trying to dismantle a life down to ash. Evidence accumulated quietly. Phone records, witness statements, requests for cleaning supplies. The unglamorous, devastating architecture of a crime that was neither impulsive nor confused. This was violence with steps. Violence that lingered after the body was already gone. Saleha's death was not loud in the way movies teach us to expect. There was no spectacle, no chase, just the steady collapse of a life at the hands of someone who once knew her routines, her voice, her softness. Someone who had once stood close enough to matter. In court, the facts arrived stripped of emotion: dates, charges, sentences. Drayton pleaded guilty and received decades in prison. The system closed its file. The law did what the law does. It named the crime, measured the punishment, and moved on. But that is never where the story actually ends. Because Saleha's life does not resolve into a sentence length. It lingers in absence, in the silence where future versions of her should have stood, in the question that follows so many stories like hers: what is the cost of visibility? When a woman's life begins to rise, when she becomes more visible, more self-directed, more alive, does that visibility become risk? Is retreat the safest strategy? Is shrinking the price of survival? The question itself is a wound, because retreat is not living, hermiting is not freedom. And yet the world repeatedly teaches women that movement invites consequence, that growth draws attention, that becoming may provoke destruction. Saleha did nothing wrong. She lived, she trusted, she existed in full color, and for that, someone chose to end her. Which brings us to the only certainty this earth offers: nothing and nobody is permanent. Not youth, not love, not safety, not even the people we believe will always be there. So what can we hold on to? Not permanence, not protection, not guarantees, only memory. Memory is what survives violence. Memory is what resists erasure. Memory is the one thing fire cannot finish burning. Saleha Huuda is gone, but she is not erased. And as long as she is remembered, not as a headline, not as a warning, but as a life, something remains. It is never enough, but it is what we have.